You know, the day I was sitting and watching the highlights from the Bucks and Bears game this afternoon, I went back and watched the highlights of Mike Evans' 170-yard game with 2 touchdowns. And I'm just looking like, this dude is just Mr. Consistency. It just really doesn't matter like who he has at quarterback. He's gonna put up his 1,000 yards and like 5 or 10 plus TDs every season. He's had like 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career. I think that's like tied for the most, or maybe like this year if he has 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons, that will be the most in NFL's history to start the season. And I'm sitting there looking like nobody ever gives this dude his praise for like being Mr. Consistency at wide receiver. It used to be like DeAndre Hopkins because he had like 5 or 6 different quarterbacks over a span of like 5 years since he's been in the league. But DeAndre Hopkins kind of fell off after the whole getting injured and switching teams, and him and his coordinators and coaches going back and forth. But back to Mike Evans. Even when you look back at like his Jameis Winston years, he was still balling out. And when Tom Brady came, the shine kind of went away from him because they had Chris Godwin, then Gronk came to the team, then AB came to the team. So his role kind of fell back. He wasn't getting as many targets. But somehow at the end of the year, he still had his 1,000 yards receiving that you can pencil him in for. And then when you look at like the NFL top 100 and you look at the analysts, when they talk about the top receivers, his name never comes up. I mean, this offseason, he was named like number 53 on the top 100. I think he was probably like the 6th or 7th best wide receiver or something like that. I have to go back and check it. I didn't do my research before I did this video. It's kind of spur of the moment. But when you look this dude's stats up, you can always pencil him in for 1,000 yards and a handful of TDs. That's just like this season. He has rapport with a new quarterback, just like he does every other quarterback. Just like he did with Brady. His first year with Brady he was Brady's #1 target in the red zone if he didn't have Gronk for those games. He would always look for Mike Evans, and it's an easy touchdown because the dude is like 6'4". He's deceptively fast for his size, not like Calvin Johnson fast or like Tyreek fast, but he has good enough to speed to get past wide receivers, or not wide receivers, DBs, catch deep balls. He's a possession receiver, big possession receiver, so he can get those contested catches over the middle, on the sideline, in the end zone. And then the dude has great hands. And it's now they're talking about trading this dude to another team because they don't want to pay him. It's like whoever gets this dude, you probably still pencil him in for his 1,000 yards. It's gonna be kind of curious to see if they trade him, who he ends up with, and if he does, and when he does get traded, is he still gonna get the 1,000 yards? I think he's a shoe-in for 1,000 yards. I don't know, but it just bugs me out that this dude's name never comes up as like one of the best wide receivers in the league, or even so, just like calling him Mr. Consistency. I think that should be his nickname, Mr. Consistency.